The book of Exodus, the second book of the Bible, is a central text in the Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions. It is part of the Torah, or Pentateuch, traditionally attributed to Moses, and continues the narrative begun in Genesis. The title Exodus comes from the Greek word xi delta omicron, meaning departure or exit, referencing the primary event of the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt. The book weaves together themes of liberation, covenant, law, and divine presence, which are foundational to understanding the relationship between God and His people. Exodus can be divided into three broad sections: the oppression in Egypt and the liberation, chapters 1 to 15, the journey in the wilderness and the giving of the law, chapters 16 to 24, and the construction of the tabernacle and God's dwelling among the people, chapters 25 to 40. The Israelites in Egypt, chapters 1 to 15. Oppression and the call of Moses, chapters 1 to 4. Exodus begins with the Israelites suffering in Egypt under the rule of a Pharaoh who did not know Joseph, Exodus 1 verse 8. The Egyptians fear the growing Hebrew population and subject them to forced labor. Pharaoh orders the killing of all Hebrew male infants, leading to the birth and rescue of Moses by Pharaoh's daughter. Raised as an Egyptian prince, but aware of his Hebrew roots, Moses eventually flees Egypt after killing an Egyptian. God calls him from the burning bush at Mount Horeb, revealing his name as YHWH, often rendered as I am, and instructs Moses to return to Egypt to lead the Israelites out of bondage. Plagues and the Exodus, chapters 5 to 15. Moses and his brother Aaron confront Pharaoh with God's command to let the Israelites go. Pharaoh refuses, leading to the famous 10 plagues, which demonstrate God's power over both nature and the Egyptian deities. The plagues culminate in the Passover, chapter 12, during which the firstborn of Egypt are slain, but the Israelites, who have marked their doorposts with lamb's blood, are spared. Pharaoh finally relents, and the Israelites leave Egypt. However, Pharaoh changes his mind and pursues them, leading to the dramatic parting of the Red Sea, through which the Israelites pass safely while the pursuing Egyptian army is drowned. The journey to Mount Sinai and the covenant, chapters 16 to 24. The wilderness journey, chapters 16 to 18. After their miraculous escape, the Israelites begin their journey through the wilderness. They face hardships such as lack of food and water, but God provides for them by sending manna from heaven and water from a rock. Along the way, they are attacked by the Amalekites, but prevail with divine help. Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, advises him on how to organize the people, setting up a system of leaders to manage the growing nation. The giving of the law at Sinai, chapters 19 to 24. The Israelites arrive at Mount Sinai, where they enter into a covenant with God. This moment is one of the most significant in the Bible. God reveals himself in a spectacular display of thunder, lightning, and smoke, and Moses ascends the mountain to receive the 10 Commandments, chapter 20. These commandments form the core of the moral and legal code that will govern the Israelites. In the following chapters, God provides additional laws covering various aspects of life, including justice, worship, and social conduct. The covenant is sealed with a ceremony, and the people affirm their allegiance to God. The tabernacle and God's presence, chapters 25 to 40. Instructions for the tabernacle, chapters 25 to 31. The third section of Exodus focuses on the construction of the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary where God will dwell among his people. God gives Moses detailed instructions for the tabernacle's design, including its furnishings, the Ark of the Covenant, the table for bread, the lampstand, the priestly garments, and the rituals of consecration. This reflects the idea that God's presence is no longer confined to the mountaintop, but will accompany his people in their journey. The golden calf and the renewal of the covenant, chapters 32 to 34. While Moses is on the mountain, the people grow impatient and, under Aaron's leadership, create the golden calf, an idol representing their former Egyptian gods. This act of rebellion angers God, and he threatens to destroy the nation, but Moses intercedes. God relents, but the incident leads to severe consequences for those involved. Nevertheless, the covenant is renewed, and Moses receives a new set of tablets. Construction of the tabernacle and the presence of God. Chapters 35 to 40. The Israelites follow God's instructions to build the tabernacle with exacting detail. The book closes with the completion of the tabernacle, which is then filled with the glory of God. God's presence now resides among the Israelites in a tangible form, signifying His continual guidance and protection as they prepare to enter the promised land. Key themes in Exodus. 1. Liberation and redemption. The central event of Exodus is the liberation of the Israelites from Egyptian slavery. This act of deliverance becomes a symbol of divine intervention in history to free the oppressed. In Jewish tradition, the Exodus is commemorated annually during the Passover festival. In Christian theology, the Exodus foreshadows the redemptive work of Jesus, who delivers humanity from the bondage of sin. 2. Covenant. The covenant at Mount Sinai is the theological heart of Exodus. God promises to be the God of Israel, and in return, the Israelites are to be His chosen people, adhering to His laws and commandments. This covenant is both conditional, based on the Israelites' obedience, and unconditional, because of God's unchanging faithfulness. The giving of the Ten Commandments lays the foundation for Jewish ethical and religious life, and continues to influence the moral framework of many cultures today. 3. Law. The laws given at Sinai, including both the moral laws, like the Ten Commandments, and ritual laws, regulating worship and community life, reveal God's expectations for how the Israelites are to live as a holy nation. The law functions not only as a legal code, but also as a means of drawing the people into a closer relationship with God, showing how they can embody His holiness. 4. God's presence. Exodus emphasizes God's desire to dwell among His people. The tabernacle serves as the focal point of divine presence, symbolizing God's intimacy with Israel. The tabernacle's construction and the rituals associated with it highlight the Israelites' access to God, while also emphasizing the importance of holiness and purity in approaching the divine. 5. Leadership and mediation. Moses emerges as a central figure in Exodus, serving as both a leader and a mediator between God and the people. His faith, intercession, and humility are vital to the Israelites' survival and success. At the same time, Moses' struggles, especially in dealing with the people's disobedience and lack of faith, highlight the complexities of leadership. Exodus and broader religious tradition. Judaism, Exodus is foundational to Jewish identity. The story of liberation and covenant forms the basis for Jewish theology and practice, particularly as celebrated during Passover. The commandments given at Sinai are central to Jewish law, halakha. Christianity, in Christian interpretation, the Exodus prefigures the salvation brought by Christ. Jesus is seen as the new Moses, leading humanity out of spiritual bondage. The Passover lamb becomes a symbol of Christ's sacrifice. Islam, in the Quran, Moses, Musa, is a revered prophet, and the Exodus story is retold in various surahs. It emphasizes Moses' role as a messenger of God and the faithlessness of Pharaoh. Conclusion. The Book of Exodus is a multifaceted narrative that explores themes of liberation, law, and divine presence. It reflects the journey of a people from oppression to freedom, from chaos to covenant, and from alienation to communion with God. Exodus not only records a historical journey, but also invites reflection on the spiritual journeys of individuals and communities throughout time.